Conrad's War Law. The first phase is complete and the transit points have been secured. The population is cooperative, so I have ensured the men keep their calm. There is talk of some kind of corruption at play, but all I can make out for now is that the citizens blame each other for everything, competing to show their loyalty to our presence. Annoying. We now know the location of the Serdars. I was hoping for a reply from Yaroslav, but the first dispatch hasn't returned. I am now sending another and reattempting the completion of the second phase. We've only arrived, but the locals already tire me. So does the weather, if it can even be called that. The sky and the rain feel as if they are all the exhaust material of some unbearable manufacturing zone. Negotiations have failed. The second phase is now obsolete, and 3 of our platoons have been obliterated by the Serdars. Yaroslav has, I believe, gone mad. This was his army just as much as mine until this mess. I will never understand what leads others to betrayal. He butchered our men as if he never knew them. Note: I suspect the administration is also establishing their presence here. The citizens are at moments unmanageable, at others docile and apathetic. As for us, I can no longer afford any expeditions below, since I have only a few men remaining. 2 full divisions are on their way for support, since news of our debacle at the gate has spread. I am afraid it is open war with the Serdars. There will be no easy resolution to whatever's going on. If only I could have a word with Yaroslav myself, I'm sure he would see reason. We were ambushed yesterday in the temple we've set up camp in, yet it feels pathetic to say by whom. A single knight wearing the grin of death. He would pass for a clown if he hadn't told me what he had. I will retire into what's left of the monastery to reconsider everything. The state of affairs is such that I'm sure the administration will soon step in. I would wish luck if it were anyone else venturing below, but I hope they meet what they deserve at Yaroslav's gate. Helena's Diary, Fragment 2. Things were becoming more chaotic, and if that wasn't enough, more soldiers arrived. These were not only looking for their rebel, but they also seemed to be obsessing over the area beyond the Machinarium, just like the ones Conrad was looking for. Soon, even more of them showed up, and they were the exact opposite of what Conrad was like. Big bulks of metal, bald and brutal. They seemed to lose track of the time, just like the rest of us, though, and when they lost their patience, some things are best left unsaid. 3. We were given shovels to clean the neighborhood and pile everything up. The rubble and the dead in their containers. We then moved this to a nearby site where other piles were being incinerated. As I did what I was told, I felt like I had so many narrow escapes. Every threat to my life seemed to boost my eagerness to survive. Things lose sense by the day, and this confusion seems to be crippling the invaders as well. I hope we can find a way to leave soon, so we can just put all of this behind us. 4 is missing currently, but I have 5. The person in the window waved at me again last night. Maybe it's someone they spared during the raid? My ex-secretary says the days now overlap. Yesterday feels like tomorrow, and now feels like something that happened a week ago. Perhaps all the things Feigenbaum played with are finally catching up with us. The hunger, however, is now the only thing we worry about. Helicar's Maxims, 1 out of 3. I'm going to read the whole thing. Sip some water. If it should happen that you feel lost, turn right at the first gate and start again. Don't hesitate. What has been will always be. What is to come was never ours. The orchid has blossomed at exactly the same spot every year so far, but that is no guarantee. It might not make it back this year. The sky whales might lose their way in the swaying winds. The swallows never make it back home. We do not know, and in that lies the power of all the things that might be. The map grows old instantly, getting out of the same side of the bed tiresome. The almond's blossom often comes too soon. It is just stubborn determination. The walls of the megalopolis were not designed to fall. The angel thought this message would forever last. Time is not carved out in a straight line. She is like the waves and fickle as the clouds. She comes, she goes, she weaves. If lost, it might not be a gate, but turn left again at the first sign. Turn and remain on the narrow and the straight. Helicar's maxim's 3 of 3 because I don't have 2. The picture is tattered, taunted, and all but torn. The sun struggles to deal with this particular dawn. It is early, and it is still late. The clouds have formed, the rain beats a gentle rhythm into the glistening street. Water and oil, the rainbow bled into the ground. The light came and went, the land was savagely raped and the hills were gutted so that we might have slightly better lives. Paint a scene where the kestrel still hovers. Paint a scene where the kestrel still hovers. Paint a scene where we might see what we have and what once had been. Guisard's manifest. Those surrounded by comfort wallow in excesses, disturbed only by the most accidental of anxieties until an event such as this, and once that opulence comes into jeopardy, other extremes become priorities. Flight, retaining all that was accumulated on the backs of others, and if necessary, the instant siding with the invader to keep the honey flowing. Existence at one point becomes the only pursuit of more. Becomes only the pursuit of more. Like waking from a dream about dreaming, everything is a haze, a dark, ominous haze. I've seen death, pain, and torture. I hear a voice. Once in a while, I see the voice beckon like a ripple in water. Before I can make the form of the image, I am gone too. No matter where my mind wanders, there's an oppressive red mist crushing the reaches of my imagination. Try as I might, there seems to be no escape. No escape. Only a journey deeper, farther. But what awaits at the innermost depths? I suppose the omnistructure makes room beyond sense, beyond time. Venturing into the anomalous zone at the edge of this crumbling colony, I was enveloped by a world devoid of sense, dominated by the cold, relentless sprawl of concrete and rebar. Rusted metal carcasses of buildings stood as grim monuments to a forgotten era, their skeletal frames interwoven with the vestiges of ancient technology and tangled cables that snaked across the ground like decaying veins. The omnipresent drone of the structure reverberated through the air, a constant reminder of its oppressive presence, here louder than anywhere before. As I picked my way through the debris, I could sense the weight of the past pressing in, the technological remnants whispering secrets of a world that once thrived but now lay silent and corroded. Standing at the top of a hill, a derelict monastery, an anachronistic island in a sea of decaying technology. The surrounding residential structure looms oppressively, its vast expanse of concrete and rusted metal interwoven with a labyrinth of cables. Everything is draped in a strange, sickly moss. An eerie silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant hum of the megastructure. The moss, with its unsettling, almost sentient presence, clung to the remnants of the past, casting a malign shadow over this forgotten place. Each step towards the monetary feels like a descent into madness, the boundaries between the organic and the artificial blurring in the twilight of a world long caving in on itself. It's hard to tell what belongs to what time anymore. The only compass here is the pull of the anomaly's core. I've repeated the completeness protocol over 40 times now to no avail. No training can prepare a mind for this. All sense and reason are gone. The mental fortitude required to hold a coherent thought for longer than a heartbeat is soul-crushing. It feels like I am existing from one moment to the next, picking up the remnants of déjà vu after déjà vu. Have you ever tried to paint a loved one's face from memory? The image shifts and deforms, highlighting the mind's fleeting nature. Drawing from memory is an abstract skill. Breathing and heartbeats are automatic. Now, even these feel abstract to me. I have to consciously breathe and encourage my heart to beat, doubting its rhythm if I can't feel it. My heartbeat feels like a word repeated until it loses meaning. Nothing endures here. In the heart of the desert, beneath the oppressive mist, stands an enormous abandoned monastery, its once grand structure now weathered and eroded by the relentless sands. Behind it, a vast and malignant labyrinth emerges from the anomaly. A chaotic expanse where time and space are distorted beyond recognition. Straight lines no longer align. They twist and bend unpredictably. Matter here perpetually dissipates and crumbles, never quite vanishing, as if the space is caught in a continuous loop of decay. The immense irradiation and the absence of any sense of causality render this environment inhospitable to most. The very fabric of reality seems to fracture, making survival impossible for all the most resilient. Despite the inhospitable conditions, rumors persist of a handful of Serdars who have taken refuge in the monastery, braving the inhospitable surroundings and the malignant influence of the labyrinth.